Everybody here can hear me clearly? Okay. Eh? Why are more Singaporeans buying into Malaysian properties today? Before we even ask this question, I will ask all of you here. Everybody here wants to own a property themselves, right? And it's getting very, very expensive here in Singapore. Correct? Now, does this answer the question itself? If like that, we can stop here and I can go home. But then we will ask ourselves, why are they still buying? It's across the causeway, you know. Is it very far away? Mothership says, Singaporeans are buying Johor condo properties as JB Singapore RTS link shows good progress. What is the JB Singapore RTS link? I hope all of you have been following the news. It is the construction of an RTS link between Bukit Changga and JB site and at the Woodlands North Station that is slated to commence passenger service by end 2026. 2026 is just 2 years away. How long does it take to construct a project? About 2 years, right? It is a 4 km rail shuttle service with a peak capacity of 10,000 passengers per hour, both directions. Now that's a lot of people. And that station, which is the RTS link station with the CIQ in Singapore, will be 10 times the typical size of an MRT station. 10 times. Not I say one, LTA say one. It will be serviced by the Thomson Tel line. This will then bring you to anywhere you want to go in Singapore. Those of you who are Singaporeans who don't drive, you know how efficient our MRT service is. It goes both ways. You take that MRT, you go to the Thomson Tel line, Woodlands Station, and you can go to the RTS link, cross over to Malaysia. And what are we waiting for after that? Well, people there have been buying up properties. I have a colleague here, his name is Albert Chow. Where is he? Where are you, Albert? He's in a yellow t-shirt there, okay? Now the mass rapid system link, there are few projects all around there. On top of that is Princess Cove, right at the causeway. Then it was Tri-Towers Residences, Sky Suite, Meldrum Hills, Citya Sky 88, SKS Pavilion Residences. Mr. Albert Chow is the country business director of JB Malaysia. His phone number 87867685. I repeat, 87867685. You want to buy JB properties, look for him, okay? Because he will be able to tell you where is the right property in JB to buy. You just can't pick anyhow, okay? And I will have to say this. Investors are looking for the potential properties that connect to the RTS as well as LRT lines. You don't anyhow buy in JB also. Because it's only around these areas that you can get a capital appreciation and rental. Now, the kind of rental you have in Malaysia is very different from that in Singapore. In Singapore, we have to rent out 2 years, 3 years. URA has said 3 months is the least that you can rent out. In Malaysia, you can do Airbnb, 2 day, 3 day, 2 day, 3 day, and things like that. And when you do Airbnb, the rentals you collect are the highest. When you go on a weekly basis, it drops. Monthly basis, it drops. When it goes to the yearly basis, that's the lowest. So you ask, how are Malaysian properties been doing? Now this is from Malaysia side. Over the past decade, Malaysian properties have been on the steady uptrend, contrary to a lot of people. In fact, negative impression even from some online forums. People talk bad about Malaysian properties, but it's not true. Now this has been gradually going up. It is a natural progression of capital appreciation of properties. Nothing special, no? No special effect, and yet it keeps on going up. Singapore, we have experienced that over the last 50 years. We have seen our HDB flats move from 50,000, 30,000 down to $1 million. Indisputable, because we are feeling it now. It's expensive. So more Singaporeans are buying properties in JB. But why? Recently, Malaysia lowered the MM2H, where you can stay in Malaysia. They lowered the restrictions. At the same time, during that same period in April, what happened? Singapore side decided ABSD increased. Second property, you pay 20%. Third property, you pay 30% and onwards. What happened? People with, foresight decided that I think it's too expensive to buy my second property in Singapore. Because the only other way is that you buy one, or you buy a property, but you have to get rid of the second property and get your ABSD remission. Collect back the money. But for those people who are wealthy enough, they do asset progression. Means I sell away my property and I buy two. Now this was actually done earlier on before the ABSD went up so high. It's called asset progression model. Now this one no longer can be done in Singapore because it's too expensive. The ABSD will hit you very hard. Now why is the ABSD very different from the Malaysian model? Because ABSD and SSD in Singapore are computed on the entire price of your property. Whereas in Malaysia, if you make money, they only tax you on the capital gains tax. First 5 years, 30%. But after the 5 years, say you stay in the property, own it for 5 years. Own it, you don't have to actually occupy it. The capital gains tax is only 10% onwards for foreigners. If you lose money, no tax. That is the big difference. Singapore, whether you lose money or make money on the price of the flat, the second property, you pay SSD or ABSD on the transacted price. Big difference. We feel the pain. Now, of course, people have said it's easier to buy a Malaysian property than to buy further outstation because proximity. So this agent said, in quotation, even if you buy in JB and there are vacancies and the rental rates are low, you can still contain your losses. How? You can choose to live in JB while renting out your property in Singapore. And that amount of money that you collect from the rental of your Singapore property can even cover your repayments to the Malaysian property. So that is to him a main advantage of buying JB rather than buying further away. It's a fallback. Another couple who owns both the commercial and residential properties in JB quoted as saying, it's easier to check in. It's easier to go and check your property because just drive across the causeway. So these were the main reasons why a lot of people have been buying into JB. Now, is it easy for Singaporeans to own, buy, invest, and stay in your Malaysian property? Answer is, of course, yes. Why? Because even KL, which is what we're going to discuss about, and why we're going to talk about KL is because JB is a bit overpriced today. KL is easily accessible by road, rail, or even you want to take an airplane there. The people who are living there are actually culturally and socially, we share a common heritage. A lot of our relatives are still in Malaysia. My folks, my father came from Butterworth. My mom was a Bukit Bintang girl in KL. My cousins are in KL. One of them is here, in fact, today. Kuala Lumpur is reachable, 350 kilometers away only, and 4.5 hours easy drive. I know some of them have actually hit 3 hours, but let's not do that. You get caught for speeding, that's not good, it's not safe. But it's reachable. Now, the only thing about buying into JB is that You have, as I said, you have to check with Mr. Albert Cho. Why? Because not everything is sweet. And there is right now an oversupply there. So you have to choose those properties which are at the LRT links or near to the RTS, right? But where the rail line goes, RTS, ETS3, the electric train service tree, which you may have read in the newspapers, where this line goes, prosperity follows. This is a picture from LTA of what the CIQ and the Woodlands station will look like. 10 times bigger than a normal MRT station, a typical MRT station, 10 times bigger. It's huge. So you can imagine, on JB side in Bukit Jangga, it will be equally huge. Why? Because common sense tells you, they are not just going to build another station there just for the ETS3. We'll talk about that in a while. Can we play this video? This is Anthony Loke, the Malaysian Transport Minister. Play the video. Hello.
Ketiga, dan apabila adanya rolling stock ini menjelang tahun depan, kita akan memulakan perkhidmatan ETS dari Kuala Lumpur Central sampai ke Johor Bahru apabila siapnya landasan gemas Johor Bahru nanti. Tunggu supaya perkhidmatan ini tentu akan sampai dan kita akan memberikan khidmat terbaru kepada rakyat Malaysia. The ETS new train sets we are unveiling today is in Hunan. It's a project undertaken by CRRC Rolling Stock Centre in Batu Gajah, Malaysia. My hope and my commitment to the Malaysian people is that the delivery of new transit must be completed on time. It is also worth mentioning that significant efforts have been made to ensure Malaysia local manufacturers have meaningful participation and benefits from positive spillover by working with CRRC in Malaysia. I have been informed that a total of 8 trains will be assembled in Malaysia, apart from the first 2 sets that will be shipped from Johor. With the expected delivery date, all sets by 12 August 2025, the ETS train will be used for the Gemas Johor Bahru, newly electrified and double-track sections, as well as the entire West Coast Rail network from Padang Besar in the north to Johor Bahru in the south. This is a game changer for millions of passengers of Malaysians as journey between KL and Johor Bahru will be greatly reduced. Transport reliability and safety will also improve significantly.
When the ETS starts working in 2027, it will take 3.5 hours to travel from Singapore by ETS3 to KL. That's equivalent to taking the road up, right? Different from the train service we have today, a bit slower. But something else is coming around. Earlier on, we saw this. This announcement was made on the 8th of June 2024. June 2024. The next thing we see before that, they even announced the HSR project that is coming. And the HSR station will very likely co-locate with the RTS platform so that travelers from Malaysia going into Singapore can clear the customs and immigration checkpoint here. This was the problem that the former HSR didn't take into consideration. Straight coming to Jurong East. How to check the passport? Who's clearing the customs? So they realized cannot. So now they stop there. Everything checked on the RTS platform, clear customs, immigration, take the RTS link into Singapore. Then at the Woodlands checkpoint, go wherever you want by MRT. This is workable. And they are building enough space for you to take care of thousands of people that will be coming through the RTS link. Transport Minister Loke said that the plan for the 350-kilometer long rail network is to award the project to a group of majority owned by Malaysian firms. 19 July 2024, very recent. Today is September. This was just a few months ago only. Now, if the RTS link can have such a great impact on JB properties, What do you think will be the HSR's effect on KL properties when we can reach KL in 45 minutes? Now, my contention is very simple. Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, will rise. Why it will rise? Because the new government is stable and is getting stronger. Now, you may challenge me, Mr. Lee, you are not God, and you are not Google either. So how do you know? Well, in the past, we have been following Dr. Tun Mahathir's policies. They have been very suppressive, not just on Singapore, but also on his own people. He did not enrich his people. That's why people have to continue relying on him. Today, Anwar is in charge. He's the new prime minister. No more nepotism. He's getting rid of corruption. And the TRX has been completed. What is the TRX in Malaysia capital? It is the exchange. It's the Tun Razak exchange. There are 20 over buildings being built around there, which are banks, insurance companies, financial institutions. They are all cropping up just like our CBD in our Robinson Road, Shenton Way. It's growing. And as that grows, foreign capital is actually coming into KL. KL first. Why? Financial hub. MRT systems and LRT systems are also well developed there. They used to be owned by separate companies. Today, it's all well integrated. The government is taking charge. Last of all, when you look at the country's progress, you look at its infrastructure. Is it moving forward? Is it getting better or is it stagnating? Today, data centers are sprouting out in Selangor. We talk about that later. This was on our channel News Asia. So what did we see on our own TV screen? They announced interest rate in Malaysia capped at 3%. Growth may surpass the 4 to 5% in forecast, and inflation is to remain below 3%. Positive economic prospects, structural reforms, and efforts to boost capital flows are taking part. More capital is coming in. And this is what's happening to the ringgit. Now, this was taken in August. Can everybody take out your phone and check the exchange rate today? What's the exchange rate today? Today. This was 3.356. Today is 3.31. You go to JB, you're going to spend more money because the ringgit is strengthening. Now, the question is, how far will it strengthen? And if you look at your phones today, the graph, it is going down even further. So, those Singaporeans who buy into Malaysia today can benefit not just from the normal capital appreciation growth, but also by locking in your ringgit purchases at this date today. Today, you buy in at 3.31. When it goes down to $2, you already make money on the exchange rate. So, Business Times says Malaysia is the third most popular country for Singaporean buyers. Malaysia is the second top choice for Chinese real estate buyers. Why not Singapore? Very simple. We are too expensive. 2,400 XX dollars per square foot. Malaysia, no. In ringgit, maybe 2,400 per square foot, but it's ringgit. So you divide by 3.3. Now, if you buy in today, our studies have shown that the KL property market has stabilized at the bottom. This is the bottom of the curve to me. It's about how much? Oh, this is the forecast, sorry. Business forecast is very positive. And all the factors are on the right-hand side means it is confident. Business people are confident of the business environment in KL and in Malaysia. Malaysia's GDP for services grew. Construction also grew. Now, Malaysia's GDP per capita purchasing power parity, PPP. That means to say Malaysians are getting more and are able to have more and more money to buy today. How many of you realize this? I think all of us think that Malaysia has still been a backwater. No? Wrong. They are actually improving. Why? Anwar has a plan for the country. Smart City Master Plan. Kuala Lumpur, a city for all. No longer just for the Malays. City for all. And they have a framework. And this framework covers a lot of areas which will boost the economy. Malaysia will be the next regional data center, Malaysian Reserve. And today we have 27 data centers in Malaysia. Now to put the data center, any data center up, you must have an optic fiber cable network. You must have electricity, and you must have a lot of engineers to maintain this. Software engineers, hardware engineers. Let's listen to this video from Anwar Ibrahim himself. Kayeng. No, don't click on. Okay.
One, AWS will invest to build physical data centers in Malaysia, becoming one of Amazon's trusted 34 launch regions across its global infrastructure map. Two, over 3,500 Malaysian jobs will be directly created from these new data centers. These jobs, including construction, facility maintenance, engineering, telecommunications, and others within our broader economy, will be part of the high-value AWS supply chain. And three, as part of this new relationship, AWS has signed a cloud framework agreement with the Malaysian government to boost cloud adoption within the public sector. We welcome AWS to Malaysia. We are excited for the potential of this new investment and potential for new innovation resulting from technology transfer, learnings, and more.
AWS is Amazon Web Services. They are in Malaysia now. Google is also in Malaysia. Malaysia is poised to become Asia's third biggest data center market. Can't move. I can't move. Okay. So JP Morgan has upgraded Malaysia. For don't know how many years they never upgrade it. Now they have upgraded it. Why? Because he said for the first time in years, Putrajaya is walking the talk. They are actually doing what is necessary to get the economy going. So they have upgraded Malaysia. Malaysia's earnings growth is on track at between 10 to 11%. Target GDP growth at 5% for 2024, already 4.2 achieved. First quarter outflows, although went out 150, 160, after that second quarter, 200 million came in. So confidence is being boosted. So let's talk about the ringgit again, because that touches our pocket. It is the best performing agency currency so far in 2024. This one is irrefutable. Not I say one, it's money talks, okay? The ringgit is right on top. So Malaysian shines as foreign investors return. One of the reasons is also because Thailand stumbled too many political problems. So currency from Thailand flow into Malaysia. Malaysian stocks went up, going to be the strongest in over a decade. Bond market also went up. Positive outlook for real estate market in 2024. The prices are now right at the bottom. This is the graph which I was talking about just now. So it's hovering between about 767 or $800 per square feet, sorry, ringgit per square feet. This is very affordable for us because when you buy in Sing dollars, it is even cheaper. You divide by 3.3. Median, if you are buying a median range property in KL, it is about 1.4 million ringgit. Divide by 3.3 now. Tell me how much is that. Can you buy a HDB flat with 1.4 million ringgit today? Can or not? When you buy the high end will be 2.3 million. Median, that means about the average. This is the high end. A lot of us want to buy high-end properties in Orchard Road, Grange Road, Cane Hill. The quality of the high-end property is equivalent to those kind of properties, but it only costs you 2.3 million ringgit. Supply of high-end condos in KL, muted. Because in Malaysia, for developers to get land is different from in Singapore. Malaysia's developers, they have to negotiate with the individual landowners. Here in Singapore, we got GLS, Government Land Sale Scheme. They buy from the government, 99 years, easy. In Malaysia, they got to fight tooth and nail, negotiate with the landowners. So it's very difficult. That's why the supply is not coming out so soon. And the question is, we always ask this question, are KLCC properties attractive and bought by Malaysians themselves? The answer is yes. 29% in Conley. 29 in Conley. Conley is one of the high-end projects, high-end. We don't take the low-end, we take the high-end, because if you can afford the high-end means you can afford anything. 29% of the purchases were Malaysians, followed by China, 27%, and 25% Taiwanese. Singapore, how many percent? 5%. Why? Because we have been prejudiced against our neighbor. Prejudice. Why are we so prejudiced? Because we are so used to them being poor and we being rich. That is changing. This is Conley. It is fully furnished. Whatever you see here, you get, You don't have to bring in the chair, the sofa, the paneling. It is all done. Even the table, marble table, is provided for you. Lighting's included. No need to say bathroom fittings. How much? Well, before we talk about that, look at the facilities. You got even a concierge service, fitness centers, heated pools, 2 levels. Fine craftsmanship is what it delivers. Video, please.
Hello and welcome to a virtual home tour of Conley, a Kerry Hill designed residential tower right in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This luxury serviced residence is designed to reflect the discreet luxury that Kerry Hill Architects is known for across the world, including 9 Aman resorts across Asia, to the Datai Langkawi, one and only Desaru Coast, and Martin No. 38 in Singapore. The 52-story Conley will rise in what has historically been the enclave to the city's top influencers and elites. Here, against the backdrop of royal palaces and embassies, you find affluence at every corner, from 5-star hotels to upscale shopping, gourmet dining, top medical centers, the Royal Selangor Golf Club, and 50 acres of parkland right beneath our world-famous Petronas Twin Towers. Also easily reached, especially with the upcoming Conley MRT station, which sits right at the doorstep of this development. Welcome home. Fine craftsmanship, these 2 words best describe Conley and can be seen throughout. Here's the main living, dining and kitchen in a spacious open floor plan that makes the most of sweeping views of the Kuala Lumpur skyline. And with 3-meter-high ceilings, it is the perfect setting to entertain or relax in the privacy of your own home. Each residence comes thoughtfully curated and fitted with concealed air conditioning, lighting, a fully appointed kitchen, marble countertops, a washer and dryer, and even a dedicated place for your shoe collection, so that moving in means only having to bring in your personal furniture and belongings. Every aspect of Conley has been planned with precision and with your well-being in mind. The balcony opens out from the living room as well as the 2 bedrooms, allowing in enough light and air to circulate. At whichever elevation and view, you can still go outside without leaving your home. The timeless elegance of the heritage E&O Hotel, paired with the matchless finesse of Aman Resorts, have influenced the spa-like bathrooms of Conley. Twin vanities, deep bathtubs, and state-of-the-art Japanese toilets offer the ultimate indulgence. The lifestyle spaces at Conley offer subtle touches of luxury at every turn. 2 floors of amenities and facilities ensure privacy and exclusivity with 2 infinity pools, 2 fitness centers, and even 2 private lounges. This is indeed the pinnacle of living. Thank you for joining Rob Report Malaysia on this virtual home tour with E&O and me, Deborah Henry. Until next time.
Fully furnished, just behind Pavilion, Embassy Row. You can't get as good as this, all right, in Singapore, in the heart of KLCC. If you ever want to rent this place, the TRX is just one station away. Just to let you know, as I am speaking, my client has already booked one unit, 27A-7 is already booked. So another unit has been sold. Sorry. How much will it cost? The cheapest here will be 1.7 million ringgit. How big? 743 square meters. You want to get a bigger one? 3 million. 3 million there is 1 million here. In fact, still got change. Less than a million. Because it's only 3.06 million. Singapore, we divide by 3.3 now. But if you wait longer, it will become 2. Then what happens? You have to pay more Sing dollars. Now it's under construction. What kind of construction? They are fitting in the units now, okay? The roof has already been completed. Estimated TOP, March 2025, next year. A few months more only. We went there now. So this is something which I will tell you. I have been there. I've been to the showroom. When I walk near to the toilet opened itself. Okay, let's introduce Novo Reserve. This is a different product. This is the median one. Play the E video. It is a built-up property, built already. So no need to worry about whether built or not. This one. One bedder, 686 square feet. One bedder. Singapore, no such thing. Freehold title. Built, approved as a service apartment, which means you can do Airbnb. You also have dual key units. Something which you cannot find in Singapore. Commercial land with approval to build a service residence block up, which means service apartments can be rented out. Here you have the unit, the building itself. How many kilometers away from the KLCC center? 3 kilometers only. Why are they quoting high returns at 11? Because this was when Novo was sold earlier, cheaper. Now you buy, maybe you can get 6 or 7%. Here, 8%. Maybe here you get 6%, 7%. Our Novo developer actually is here today. So he's listening to whatever I say about the project. Novo's unique selling points now is already completed. You don't have to worry whether or not they will finish or not. It's already occupied. It's freehold. It's in Kuala Lumpur. It's above $1 million, but 1 million ringgit, sorry. 1 million ringgit is equivalent to how much Sing dollars? Less than 330,000. Right? Can you buy a HDB flat with 330,000 freehold? Answer is no. Better thing is that it's an Embassy Row. Glen Eagles Hospital is just across the road, facing Novo. We get medical tourism. That means people want to do Airbnb, they will rent from Novo directly because their relatives, their loved ones are at Glen Eagles. 2,000 over patients come to Glen Eagles a year in Kuala Lumpur. Top medical center. Okay. Education, 10 minutes away is the international school. We have competitive net selling prices. And the lowest net ROI in July was 5.69%. Interest rate is poised to go down with the Federal Reserve going to lower the interest rates. That means your banking service savings account interest rate is going to go down. So is mine. But they are not because they are doing Airbnb. Now these are the facilities. Sky Pool, gym, cigar bar. They have 2 Airbnb main operators there. These people keep the rentals going and the occupancy full. So for a month, you only get maybe 4 or 5 days vacancies. The rest of the days, they all well rented out. That's why the ROI is so high. When we do rental and our site, cannot. If our 2-year rental expires and we cannot find a tenant, we have to wait 2-3 months before we get a rental. Again, here no need. Airbnb operator will maintain the occupancy continuously throughout the whole year. Now, my agents are all around here. They are dressed in the orange t-shirt. You can see them afterwards when we go into the lounge. These are the prices which we actually computed today's price, all right? SPA price, but we are only paying the net price down here. 975, 1.2 million, 1.4 million. Okay. Ringgit. Okay. They also have property management services, which means you as the owner don't have to worry about traveling up and down. They will manage for you. And this Airbnb operator which we are working with will make sure that he does a good job so you don't have to be inconvenienced. This is Novo Reserve down there. It's already built. And around it are all the facilities and amenities. Glen Eagles, as you can see at the bottom, down here, Glen Eagles is just opposite Novo. If you buy 2 or 3 units in Novo, you can do asset progression model. But no more in Singapore because the prices there are very low, affordable for us to do asset progression. So if you're thinking of doing it now, this is the time. Thank you very much. Any Q&A? What recourse does the management committee of Novo or Conley, is it, has with regards to the recovery of monthly maintenance charges? You will just pay through the whatever system that you have already adopted with your bank to pay them. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, I hope that answers the question from whoever asked that.
Of course, if you don't pay, I think the question is, what if you don't pay?
What's the recourse?
They will write to you politely to ask you to pay. Because if you are buying into a Conley, you are already, they will actually assess whether you are eligible, what kind of a person, if you are a person of character. So the people who are staying there are all actually quite atas people. They will not want to be embarrassed for non-payment of maintenance charges. But for Conley, for Novo, which is actually on an Airbnb basis, your Airbnb charges, the Airbnb income can pay for the maintenance charges, so that won't happen also. There will be money coming in every month, in fact, every day. So there's no problem about maintenance charges.
All right, cool. Do we have any more questions right now? Any more questions coming in? Okay, we have the next questions. That is, what is the residency policy in Malaysia for Singaporeans?
This is this question will take one lecture because we have to talk about the gold, platinum, and silver MM2H policy. It's complicated. So if you really, the basic thing is that you have to own a Malaysian property first. Then you are eligible to apply for the MM2H. This is the basic. So as far as myself as a property agent, I'm not a customs immigration authority officer. So I will only tell you that for MM2H, if you want to qualify, you first have to own a Malaysian property. Then the rest, you have to decide whether it is a silver scheme, gold, or platinum. Most people just choose the silver, the lowest amount.
All right, do we have any more questions? No?